This is the Scary Movie Clubcast.
Live from the clubhouse, it's the Scary Movie Clubcast. This is Amanda.
And Nadine.
And tonight we watched the classic original Halloween.
Yes, have to.
So we watched this as part of our special Oktoberfest, so we hope y'all really enjoy it. Nadine's going to give us a summary of the movie.
Yeah, so, okay, quick summary of Halloween is basically that little Michael Myers, only 6 years old.
Little baby.
Yeah. He goes totally crazy. We don't know why. We don't know what type of crazy.
Mastrophobia.
Yeah, no, we're not to that yet. They don't know what that word means.
They're going to learn.
You're ruining my summer. Back to the beginning. Little Michael Myers, he's only 6 years old. He goes crazy out of nowhere and murders his sister, who is walking around in her panties and no bra. And so after he murders her, then he gets put into a mental institution. He's there for 15 years and breaks out on Halloween night to return home. Once he's home, he goes on a killing spree. We pick up watching Laurie Strode, who is a sweet little kind of...
Super babysitter.
Yeah, she's a sweet little super babysitter, kind of geeky. She becomes his fixation, and he kind of follows her around all night.
Alright, and then, so I have the fun facts for our movie.
Whoop, whoop.
As per usual, I have subcategorized them. First category is money, money, money.
They didn't happen.
No, the original budget for this movie was $300,000, and then the film went on to gross $47 million, which in today's money would be $187 million.
Wow.
Which makes Halloween one of the most successful independent films of all time. So the original script was titled The Babysitter Murders. A lot of babysitters get murdered.
Yeah.
Almost exclusively.
Yeah. They were not good at their jobs.
And so originally that script had the events taking place over the space of several days. But to save money, they decided to cut it back and just have it take place on one day so there wouldn't be so many costume changes, and therefore it would cost less. Speaking of the wardrobe, Jamie Lee Curtis, she actually went to JCPenney's and bought all of Laurie Strode's wardrobe. And she spent less than $100 on the entire set.
Cute pants.
Good choice.
Yeah, she looks nice.
And the reason, like, at the end of the film is the lighting in it is very dark is because they didn't have enough money for more lights.
Oh, okay. I was just like, because it's nighttime.
No, it works out. But they're like...
They were like, that's why it became nighttime on a 5-minute drive from the one house to the other.
Yeah. Our next category is the time and place facts. So, the movie is filmed in California, but actually takes place in Illinois, which makes a lot of sense because not that long ago I was looking for a particular, like, still from the movie, which I couldn't find because it didn't exist. It only exists in my mind.
You had imagined it up.
Yeah. What it was Laurie Strode looking back and seeing Mike Myers, like, peeking out behind the bushes.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't happen. She's straight up looking at him, and he's, like, just standing there.
Yeah.
My mind was like, no. She definitely was looking over her shoulder.
You're like, that's a perfect over-the-shoulder shot.
Yeah, it's a perfect over-the-shoulder shot. So I was looking for that, and I, like, watched, like, a bunch of, like, videos of it, and I was like, this is, like, Halloween. This is taking place on Halloween. This grass is looking real green. Those trees, lush.
Well, and even when we started the movie, wasn't I like, these leaves look fake? Like, it looks like they, like, put those leaves there.
That's because they did.
I called it.
They filmed the movie during the spring.
Yeah. Your girl knows fall.
And so the crew had to make a bunch of faux leaves that they had to scatter around all over the place.
Oh, that sounds like a nightmare.
Another difficulty of shooting it in the spring in California is they had a really hard time finding pumpkins because of the season.
Enough, yeah.
Which was pretty essential. There was like a ton of pumpkins in this movie.
Yeah, the pumpkins, they have them big too. Big boys.
And I thought it was so funny because when we were watching, you made a comment about the stabbing sound and how it sounded more like a punch. I was like, well, that's because the sound is a stabbing of a watermelon.
With a knife?
Yeah. Oh, and I thought this was like super interesting. So the actual Myers house is located in South Pasadena, and it was largely abandoned and falling apart. So like when Dr. Loomis goes in there, like that's how the house just looked.
Oh, that's cool.
But we also saw shots from that same house in the beginning of the movie.
Yeah.
And it looked like people lived there.
Did they fix it up?
Yeah, they basically flipped the house for the movie.
That's so cool.
I know. They had to like put up wallpaper and get furniture and like paint the walls and the molding and all that.
That's wild.
I know.
Man. And I'd be like, money please.
Our next set of facts is Carpenter facts. These are all about John Carpenter.
Okay. I thought you were going to tell me more about construction. I was like,
going into the details of this house renovation. It's only in like a couple shots of the movie.
I was like, oh, can't wait.
Part of the idea of the movie, Michael Myers' character, is based kind of on an experience John Carpenter had in college when he toured a psychiatric hospital. There, Carpenter met a child who just stared at him and, quote, stared at him with the look of evil, and it terrified me. And now, many people accuse Carpenter of stealing this idea from Bob Clark, the director of Black Christmas.
Sweet little Canadian slasher prince.
Yeah, but Bob, disagrees.
He's like, everyone has ideas. Get out of here. Stop hassling me.
This is a quote from Bob, and he said, I did a film about 3 years later. Started a film with John Carpenter. It was his first film for Warner Brothers. He asked me if I was ever going to do a sequel about Black Christmas. I said no. I was through with horror. I didn't come into the business just to do horror. He said, what would you do if you did do a sequel? I said it would be the next year, and the guy would have actually been caught, escaped from a mental institution, gone back to the house, and they would start all over again, and I would call it Halloween. The truth is, John didn't copy Black Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
He wrote a script, directed the script, did the casting. Halloween is his movie, and besides, the script came to him already titled. He liked Black Christmas and may have been influenced by it, but in no way did John Carpenter copy the idea. 15 other people at the time had thought to do a movie called Halloween, but the script came to John Carpenter with that title on it. And then another thing was, the original script that John Carpenter wrote was called The Babysitter Murders, and it was actually the producer that suggested having it set on Halloween and calling it Halloween.
Which, I mean, makes total sense. But it's not just the name. But so Bob Clark is the one who was like, he didn't steal
Yeah, that
it
was
from
Bob
me,
Clark.
guys. It's
Bob
fine.
Clark said that, and he's like, no. It was like, what even is it?
But so I guess this is the part that I'm a little bit confused about. So, like, the quote where, like, Bob was, like, describing if he did a sequel. He said that to Carpenter? Like, that quote?
That's what this quote says. He said.
That's crazy. I mean, that's crazy. Bob is very gracious. Because I would be like... Mm-hmm.
And like Bob said, he was done doing horror movies. He's like, he didn't want to be known for just doing horror movies. That's not what he went to Hollywood to do.
Yeah.
He wanted to make movies. He just happened to make a bunch of horror movies in the beginning of his career.
Which also, in case you guys haven't listened to the Slasher episode, Bob Clark is also the guy who did A Christmas Story. So he's not just known for horror movies.
Yeah, but he does like Christmas-themed movies.
He does.
So the next fact is, Tom, the little boy, and Lori are watching a movie while she's babysitting him, and it's called The Thing from Another World, made in 1951. John Carpenter went on to direct a remake called The Thing in 1982.
Oh, nice.
I know.
Good for him.
John Carpenter's co-writer, Deborah Hill, was also his girlfriend at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And Jamie Lee, she's actually a teenager when they shot the movie, unlike most of the other cast, said in an interview that they were her horror movie parents, Deborah and John, because she was so young when they did it. And when she heard that they broke up in 1979, she cried.
Oh, so cute.
Now we're on to our final girl facts. These are mostly about Jamie Lee and the Laurie Strode character. So Carpenter and Hill have stated many times that they did not consciously set out to depict virginity as a way of defeating the rampaging killer. It's just that
They were like, he's just afraid of breath.
But no, it's just that everyone else is just so preoccupied with sex and all of that, and Laurie isn't, and so she's more aware of her surroundings and things like that. That was more what they were going for. It wasn't that oh, she's a virgin so she gets to live kind of thing. She was also just a better babysitter. Those degenerates.
They were some straight up degenerates. I would never trust them with my
If
children.
I found out they were doing that kind of stuff while babysitting my kid, I'm like, never come here again.
We have to burn our bed.
Oh my gosh. Not to mention, they definitely showed up high.
Oh, yeah. Drinking their beers.
Get out of here. Worst babysitters ever. Except for Lori.
Yeah.
I mean, she did show up high to work.
And some other not perfect things. But compared to what she was around, she was like freaking Mary Poppins.
Mm-hmm. Girl Scout, her words. John Carpenter also dismisses the notion that Halloween is a morality play. And he regards it as just a regular old horror movie. He's just I just wanted to scare people. He's I didn't want people to be oh, sex and drugs are bad. Because, Lori does smoke marijuana in the car before she goes babysitting.
Oh, yeah.
She just doesn't drink because she's more responsible than the rest of them.
When also she, like, they make it seem like as if the only reason that she's not, like, with guys is that they aren't interested in her.
Yeah, and he's like, they completely missed the point, and he explains, the one girl who's the most sexually uptight just keeps stabbing the guy with a long knife. She's the most sexually frustrated. She's the one that's killed him. Not because she's a virgin, but because all that sexually repressed energy starts coming out. She uses all these phallic symbols on the guy.
I'm never gonna look at a knitting needle the same. This is ruining life.
Oh, I really liked this one. I thought this was funny, and I'd love to see this. So, because the film was shot out of sequence, John Carpenter decided to create a fear meter for Jamie Lee Curtis to know what level of terror she should be exhibiting. I just want to see what that looks like.
We don't, like, that he actually wrote down, or just, like, a thing that they talked about, like, an inside thing that they did.
It says he created a fear meter. I don't know what that means. I picture, like, some
And because you're an artist, you're like, so he brought in a
so
thing,
it's
a graph.
pictures. It's like a graph in it. So, this is Jamie Lee Curtis's first feature film. She had been acting on a television show previously, and it was on hiatus while she filmed this. But she was reportedly paid $8,000 for her efforts.
Bet she got a lot in the next time, though.
Mm-hmm. The song that she's singing when she walks down the street in the beginning of the movie, where she's singing Just the Two of Us, she makes that up.
Part of me wonders, especially now, if he asked her to sing, like, to just sing something made up, that way they didn't have to pay for it.
Something
Maybe he was like, guys, we're starting to get bored just watching you walk around.
According to Deborah Hill, John Carpenter's ex and co-writer, Lori is named after one of John's ex-girlfriends. So Jamie Lee Curtis actually wasn't the first choice for the film, but John Carpenter considered hiring her as the ultimate tribute to Alfred Hitchcock because of her mother, Janet Leigh, who was like the headline star of Psycho. Oh, and at the same time, director Richard Franklin was actually trying to get Jamie Lee to play in a new production of Psycho 2. After the first day of shooting, Jamie Lee Curtis was so upset with her performance. Like, she thought she did just a terrible job. She was like so sure that evening she was going to get a call saying she was fired. But then she did get a call from John Carpenter, who congratulated her and told her how pleased he was with her performance.
Aww,
I know.
so sweet. I love her. She's just the cutest.
I know. Oh, wait till you hear this one. This is the cutest. This made me tear up a little bit. So in 2018, at a San Diego Comic-Con, during a panel discussion with Jamie Lee Curtis, probably over the new Halloween movie that came out in that year, a fan named Joseph Scott told her that he was a victim of a similar home invasion. So basically what he says to Jamie Lee at this panel is that he was really scared, and a thought came to him, what would Jamie Lee Curtis do?
Aww.
And added later that I'm a victor today instead of a victim, just like those people that you were talking about. I don't know what that refers to. But basically, he credits his survival to Jamie Lee's performance in this movie.
Aw, that's so sweet.
I know. Alright, we got our Michael Myers fun facts now. The character of Michael Myers was named after a European distributor of Carpenter's previous film, Assault on Precinct 13. And it was kind of like a weird thank you for the film's overseas success.
Nice.
And so the Mike Myers mask, they had a couple of different options they were going with, and I think it came down to like these two were like the top contenders. So one was a mask of Don Post, which is an Emmett Kelly character of the Smiling Clown mask that they put frizzy red hair on, which was supposed to be like an homage to Michael when he killed his sister Judith. The other mask was a 1975 Captain James T. Kirk mask that was purchased for around $1.
Yeah, it didn't. I think that
Budget
both
friendly.
of those masks were at like the 99-cent store, and he like looked at both, and then he was like, ah, and like chose the Shatner one.
So they ripped the eyebrows and the sideburns off of it, painted the face white, spray painted the hair brown, and cut the eye holes to be a little bit bigger. Overall, the crew decided that the Shatner mask was way scarier.
Probably more so because it like there's something more scary about something not reminding you of anything, like about you just looking at it and like having all questions and no comfort.
Yeah, because they said it was like it's painting the face just white like that makes it completely emotionless. It's just a face. So John Carpenter's intent with the character was that the audience should never be able to relate to him. Like he's just supposed to be some unknown evil. But prior to the movie's release, a book was written by Curtis Richards that revealed more behind the story of Mike Myers' rage, thoughts, and motives. However, it's really hard to find that book. It's real rare. The quest is on.
Challenge accepted. Somebody who wants to send us that book.
I'll read it.
We will gladly do an episode.
And so when they were shooting the scene at the start of the film, the one where he's like a little boy and like he goes up and he stabs his sister, it took them like a really long time to find a child actor for the like 2 minutes that you see the child of Mike Myers.
Really?
Yeah. And so they actually had the hands you see doing the stabbing, that is actually Deborah Hill's hands. So if you notice that they have a real nice manicure to them, that's why. Originally, Nick Castle, who was one of the people who plays Mike Myers, there's several people wound up donning his mask for just this movie, was just on set to watch the filming, like to observe John Carpenter work, and they were like, you want to get in there?
Oh, that would be awesome.
Right?
It's like when J.J. Abrams is doing a Star Wars, and like just anyone around set, he's like, "You wanna be a stormtrooper?"
Yeah, I need to get in there. You look about the right size for that costume.
Like insanely famous people being like, "If you pause Star Wars at 2 hours and 15 minutes and 20 seconds, that's me."
So another thing, when I was watching that clip, when I was like, what's all this greenery? This is supposed to be fall, like the end of October. I also was like, wait, did not remember Michael Myers ever driving. And I was like, wait, what is he doing driving a car?
I know.
When did he learn this? Like,
It's
what?
insane.
It is insane.
It literally doesn't make any sense.
People think it's crazy that he can drive a car despite being in a mental asylum since age 6.
And mute.
Yeah, and so people laugh at this. But the first novelization came up with a simple, quote-unquote, effective explanation. When Dr. Loomis drove Michael to his sanity hearings over the years, Michael simply watched very closely and carefully as Dr. Loomis operated a car.
Yeah, that's how you learn. From the back seat.
Yeah, you definitely don't, crash or anything or without the first time you'd go driving without any supervision.
Yeah, that's crazy. A station wagon, easiest thing to learn in.
So easy.
Easiest buy.
No.
And in a rainy night, when's better to drive?
But then, alternatively, in Halloween, The Curse of Michael Myers, it also provides a retroactive explanation to this question.
Oh, what is it?
I don't know, didn't write it down, didn't look it up, didn't
Get
care.
Amanda. Why do you even tell me these things?
And so, okay, this is the last one. Supporting cast facts.
But now I got to know what the retroactive reason
I would just have to watch that movie.
How far in is that?
I have no idea. I didn't watch it. Anyway, so Donald Pleasance, a.k.a. Dr. Loomis, first things he said to John Carpenter about taking the role, who was really nervous about meeting him. Donald said this. He said, "I don't know why I'm in this movie. I don't know who my character is. The only reason I'm doing this movie is because I have alimony to pay, and my daughter in England is in a rock and roll group, and she said the music that you did for Assault on Precinct 13 is cool." That's how they got him.
Interest. Alimony will get you.
Another fun thing about Sam Loomis, aka Dr. Loomis, who is Michael Myers' psychiatrist, is that Sam Loomis is also the name of Marion Crane's secret lover in Psycho. So this is for a different member of the cast, J.P. Souls. She went to a screening of the movie after it was released, sitting in the 4th row in a regular audience. And she thought it was really funny because while she's sitting there in the line where she says, "See anything you like?" a male audience member in the front row shouted, "Hell yes, I do."
That's all
Unaware, she was right behind him. Dennis Quaid was her boyfriend at the time and was there with her. And he was like, "You want me to do something?" And she was like, "No, it's fine." She's like, also Dennis Quaid was originally supposed to be Linda's boyfriend because they're like, "Well, you're in this movie, you want to get Dennis? So you can be here too." And she's like, he's doing something else. Wasn't available. And that's the end of the fun facts.
Love it. I think that my overall favorite part is just that the kids were okay. I get so stressed out for kids in horror movies.
I don't know, I like the parts where Laurie is just like, kind of just being like normal. Like she's just like she reads is very like real to me. Because like her friends are being awful and they're just like dropping off the other kids in her house and she's like, "That's Laurie, I'm Girl Scout," like just something like anyone would say, like, of course I'm here with 2 kids and they're over there hooking up with their boyfriends.
Amanda's like, everyone talks to themselves.
Everyone does talk to themselves, okay? Anyone who says they doesn't is insane.
Yeah,
And a liar.
they're insane.
Also loved her pants.
Yeah,
At
such
the end.
good pants.
So good.
So
Made up
nice.
for the fact that she's wearing those gross white tights.
Yeah, she looked. The first outfit was bad.
Yeah, first off it was bad. Second outfit, VQ.
My least favorite part is the lack of blood. Needed more blood. Slasher. Come on.
I didn't include this in the fun facts, but I told this to Nadine. It's because John was holding back on the blood because his movie before that was too bloody.
Yeah. You gotta get your Goldilocks on and get it just right.
Yeah. What I didn't like was Lori's friends were legit the worst.
They were very bad people, friends, babysitters, daughters.
They're the worst babysitters of all time.
Yeah.
Having your friends come over so they can have sex with their boyfriends and that's your babysitting?
No.
That's insane.
It really is literally insane. Also, I love that the kids were, like, so aware. Like, that she, like, goes up to the little girl and is like, come on, we're gonna go pick up my boyfriend. And
Well, she said, she was like, well, remember our deal.
I know. I was like, you're so crazy.
So she's just a bad babysitter. She has this regular deal, like, I'll do whatever I want, you do whatever you want, we don't tell your parents.
I know. Can't even wait for her to go to sleep. No worse.
No. What do we think of the plot?
It's so tricky because I love the idea of it being on Halloween. I love the idea of a mental institution. I love the idea of them being babysitters. I have no problems with all of those story elements. A very lack of effort, it feels like. Like, it feels like all you were going for was to scare me, and terrible job. I don't know what I'm going to say for scariest part. What did you think of the plot quality, Amanda?
I don't know. I think for what it is, I think it's pretty good. I mean, John Carpenter's intent was to make a scary movie. And what the producers wanted, from what I read in the facts that I didn't include, I'm including now, but was they wanted it to, like, have kind of the vibe of an old radio show where there would be, like, some sort of scare, like, every, like, 10 minutes or something. So I kind of like that it's, like, just a really, like, simple plot. It's really, like, a lot of the elements are ambiguous. Because you're like, well, why did he kill his sister? You don't know. John Carpenter didn't want him to be relatable, so they leave out the reasons for that. I mean, it's really just like a simple story of crazy murdered person escapes, kills people, babysitter stops him with the help of the doctor. I like it for what it is. I just don't expect a lot from it.
I'm always the worst about judging slashers now. Like, I'm sure that will almost always be what I say when it comes to slasher plot quality. I'm the worst about it.
What are our favorite scary parts?
For me, my favorite scares were the ones of her friend's dad, the sheriff. Whenever it was like, he was always standing right behind people and they were always bumping into him and I was always like, ah! That got me.
I mean, it's definitely harder to pick out scares when you've watched it so many times and it's been so long and, like,
it's hard to even remember, like, what scared me about this the first time I saw it.
Yeah, I know. At the point when you've seen so many scary movies, it's like, what even is scary anymore?
I know. We've seen so many that really, when a movie actually scares me,
hundreds.
it makes me so happy when a movie actually scares me. I get very excited where I'm like,
Same.
especially if it's like the type of scared where like I'm thinking about it over the next couple of days, being like, oh, like I'm stressed to like walk to my car right now and stuff like that. I love that. I'm like, yes, you got in my head.
I mean, I think I just really like the sequence of Lori when she hides in the closet, because I remember just when I first saw that just being like really tense.
Yeah.
Because you're like, oh my gosh. And then when she falls down the stairs, like, I was like, oh my gosh. Like, she just falls, like, over the banister on the stairs. I was like, how are you not dead? Your back should be, like, wrecked. But she got up. All right, next part are, what do we think was funny?
So much.
That's
so much.
I think that's where slashers really shine, is that it just goes from the realm of, like, absurdity, like, some of the choices that people make. It's hilarious.
Yeah. There was actually a lot of really good, like, funny-ish parts where, like, him coming in as a ghost was so good. He just stands there as a ghost.
Yes! That was a good one, Mike.
I love that. Well, but, okay, so my favorite funny part is the way he walks. It's so funny to me. I'm like, it's like a 5-foot distance. And he'll, like, take, like, either 10 minutes to make it through that distance, or he'll be right behind you within seconds.
My favorite part is the ghost part. That was so good. It's, like, so out of nowhere.
God.
I love it.
So funny.
It's like,
do you see something you like so weird?
Also, like, the sheet, like, it had holes cut out at the eyes. He had to cut out the hole.
He was like, I got to see it.
And put the glasses on and then go up. It's too
He's
good.
like, I mean, if I dragged a tombstone from the cemetery here, I got some time to cut out some eye holes.
I know, he would have been an excellent funhouse creator. Part where you go in and it's just like, there's a dead body with the tombstone, and then she backs in the closet, what's his face, swings down, and it's like,
Yeah.
she's like, ah, and then like the door just pops open at just the right time when she bumps into it.
I know, which that part just made me angry. It's like, I could understand him like swinging down But that cabinet just popping open made zero sense. I was like, come on, at least try. At least make her like bump into it or something.
Mike came prepared. He brought the tombstone. Maybe he had some other tricks up his sleeve. I don't know. He got the holes out of that sheet.
Found some fishing line. He was standing in the corner like,
Oh, we also decided that our friend Michael Myers has
yes, you guys.
Mastrophobia.
Which is a fear of breast. We decided that's what makes him angry, guys.
Because literally that's every time he sees a boobie.
He's like,
He gets all stabbed.
time to murk.
Uh-huh. I just really like this sentence.
Oh yeah, oh my gosh,
Urban
you guys are
Dictionary.
not ready.
So they define it as an irrational fear, phobia, of breasts. You see it in a sentence. They say, "Get away from me with your giant knockers, woman." Don't you know I suffer from mastrophobia? What a weird phobia. How do you live your life? Is it just if you see them naked that you're scared?
Yeah, I would
Or is
think
it like
that
you just see women in public and you're like, ugh.
I would think that it would be like unsheathed breast.
Unholstered?
However you want to say it. Which Amanda and I were talking about it before we started recording, but she was like, I wonder if it's like animal breast. Like you
You just see some raw chicken breast and you're like,
get it out of here!
I can't look at it!
Can't drink milk. Do you know that comes from udders?
I'm just picturing the udders! Oh, what a worm!
I'm just picturing that. No, I'm not going to drink milk the same either. I know. I would love to talk to someone who has this. That would be ideal. Maybe not in person. Don't want to make them uncomfortable. So, it's pretty much fine for a slasher movie. I just don't connect with slashers. I try. And I really feel like I came into this one with like as open a mind as I possibly could. And it was fine. There were a couple elements that were good overall. Definitely, I feel like could have been lots of improvements. All right. So my ranking is 2. Or what did you
3.5?
Okay.
And it sets the boobs.
How do you feel like it ranked on the slasher scale?
Pretty hard.
Yeah, it has
It's
pretty
a
much
hard
all
slasher.
the things.
Teenagers,
Yeah.
sex, drugs, boobs.
Virgin.
All right. So that was our review of Halloween.
Yeah.
So you can follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Scary Movie Clubcast and subscribe to our YouTube channel. And we will see you next movie night. And don't forget, there are only 12 days till Halloween.
Yes.
Bye.
Just so we know, you did say that the last subcategory was the last subcategory.
Did I? I don't think I did.
I thought you did. Maybe not.
Because I got 2 more. This one and 1 more.
Okay. 29 minutes in.
No. I don't come unprepared. He said, I was scared out of my mind, and out of nowhere, I thought came inside. That's a weird way to put that. Out of nowhere, a thought came inside me.
Maybe we should start again and you should paraphrase it to came to me. Okay. Maybe this may or may not make the bloopers. We'll see what we see.
Oh my gosh. Okay. There is. Where he gets stabbed in the arm, there's just like one little line. It doesn't even like bleed, it's just red.
I know.
Do you think that means you like the Rob Zombie version more? I'm positive there's more gore in that.
I don't know. I mean, it's not like I'm like in it for the gore. I just want it to like feel a little real.
Yeah, I do have issues with that one. It's like things are super unrealistic. Like I think it was Black Panther, and there's a scene where someone's like seriously their throat gets slit, no blood. Like it's like a battle scene. They go straight across the throat. There should have been arterial spray everywhere. Yes. They should have been drenched.
That's what I want.
It didn't happen.
Maybe I do like gore.
The Hunters, man.
Oh man, too bad we have to like make sure our names for the episodes aren't crazy long because that would be a hilarious name. I'm just picturing the Hunters. People would be like, "What? This is a Halloween movie for me?"
Oh my gosh. Oh wow. What can we do to ourselves?
Oh gosh.